Hello guys and welcome back. So let's move on to Marvelous and import our cache and garment and do our simulation, right? So here in file, we can go for import and then Olympic. All right, and then I can go load that animation offsite with it. Okay, now make sure that you're having 24 as frame per second, and then make sure that you also use centimeters, right, as the unit. Of course, that depends on what kind of a unit you're using in Maya, right? If you're using fit in Maya, you use fit here. Hit OK, right? That's going to import our model, right? And then you can go to the simulation and change it to animation. You get a warning which says that the quality will be changed to complete for high quality animation. You can hit OK. And then now we're in the animation and we can play the animation. You can see what's going on here, right? That's basically our cache. You're also probably noticing that the timing is not quite correct. That's because it's trying to play it as fast as possible. You can change it to real time and take a look at what's going on. All right, go back to frame 0. Right. Yeah, so one more thing we need to do is go for file imports and obj, and we need to grab our garment. That's the garment export from ZBrush, right? Just open that. And again, you want to add it here now into the environment and then load it as garment, of course, and the same scale. Hit OK. Now you can see the jacket is also here. Now just to make things a little bit easier to see, we can grab the fabric that is have this checker here. That means it's assigned to the garment, and you go for the property editor here. You can change the color to something else, like maybe also a little bit greenish color that I'm using in Maya. Okay. Oh, actually that's the normal map. Don't want to change that. Change it back to white. Actually the texture here, material front, basic parameter, you know what that is? That should be it. Don't know why it's not updating. Try that again. If it's not updating, I'm gonna drag it over here to reassign it. Let's see. That's a little weird. Go back to simulation and take a look at what's going on. So that's our fabric, and we're using this fabric here, which is this one. Okay, and it should show the color here. I don't know why it doesn't. That's actually weird. Let me see. So we have the color here. It says none. Don't know why it's none. Change the roughness. No, let me create a new fabric, drag that over to the garment, and let's see if we can change it here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that old one. We can create a new one, of course, just to have a different color, right? Okay, now back here to the simulation, back to the animation, right? We can then start doing our first sim by clicking this record. Then you can see the animation starts to play, and you can see our character first goes from T-pose to the first key pose, right? You can see it starts the little settle down before the animation actually begins. And then you can see the garment is now following the animation and also got simulated. All right, and also we give it some more time to settle down. You can see this is still going, right? So if you can give it a little bit more time, it's always safer. But that's based on if you really need to have that in the shot. If your shot cuts over here, then it doesn't matter, right? If your shot does not cut over here, maybe you have more time, just also give it more time to settle down. Okay, it's always a safer. It's always a little bit safer if you just give it some time to settle down, and also some time to start from T pose to the key pose, right? Anyway, so when you're done with the animation, it's already actually cached. You can play the animation and see it in real time. All right. Also, you can see there is a new track in the animation editor, and that's going to be your simulation. Okay, cool. So that's basically how you simulate things in Marvelous. Just hit the little camera button to simulate it. If you wanted to make it behaves a little different, like if this is a different type of garment, a different type of fabric, go to the fabric that you use to assign to the garment. Again, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm gonna delete it. Anyway, this fabric, right? What we can do here is we can go to the physical property and preset. I'm gonna change it to something else, right? You have quite a bit of different selections as preset, like cotton, denim, knit, leather, and there's more down there, right? So you can choose one of those guys, and maybe I can try cotton canvas and see what it does. Okay. All right. And don't worry about overriding this, because when you change your physical preset to something else and you start simulating it one more time, you can see a new track got created. Okay, so the previous simulation is still there, and you're just creating a new one. Okay, so that means you could actually create a whole bunch of different simulations with different preset, and you can choose one of them that you like the most. Okay, that way you can have a few options, right? And those yellow dot are actually visibility. So when you're done with your simulation, you can toggle the visibility and view them one by one and see which one is the best. Okay. All right, let me pause the video until the simulation is done. All right, so the simulation is done. You can take a look at the different this time. You can see it's actually having a completely different result, right? And I'm assuming that it's going to be a little stiffer. As you can see, that's what's happening right on this one. Also see that one actually got holes up over there. Okay, so when something like this happens and you don't want this result, you can give it a little help. What you do is you go to maybe a fill frame earlier, like maybe here, that's what's happening, right? And you start simulating right now. And while it's simulating, you can actually drag it to give it a little help, to tell it where to go. But you want to be really subtle though, because you don't want it to be looking like there's some other force that's driving it. So you may have to go for a few tries, and you can see I'm going too fast over there, and that causes it to really go there, and that wouldn't look too natural. But you can do a few tries and see if you can help it to settle down like this, right? But again, that's what should be happening maybe for this kind of garment. Maybe it's just gonna be like that when the garment is that stiff. All right, so let me take a look at that. So yeah, you can start at any point and then doing a simulation. Again, you can see I'm trying to help it. Maybe just that last polling is too fast, so I can maybe right click and delete that, because that's not really helping. Right, I can go here and again give this one more try, simulate, and then start dragging it. Okay, yeah, it's not gonna be that easy to do, so I oftentimes has to do it multiple times until I am able to tell it how to do this. Right. So again, we're faking it, and when you're faking it, you probably will have to deal with a few iterations to get a decent result. Let's see what does it looks like here. Let me go back to oops. go back to a earlier frame. I think maybe I'm simulating. Go back here to simulation and back here to animation. Okay, go back to frame 1. Right, let's take a look. Right. Yeah, that doesn't look very nice. So we could give it a little help, but it's not that easy to make it looks very good. Okay, so you could give it multiple tries, or if this is not really working, because this is really hard to bring it back, it's already, you know, it's bending back too much, right? It's not that easy to get it. So we can also choose a different fabric and see how that one does. Okay, so I'm gonna go for the preset, and I can go for something else. Maybe this, I don't know, the Damin Raw. Okay, see how that one does. Those presets basically is changing the details down here, right? And the sliders can be considered as their stiffness. The higher those sliders are, the more stiff they are. Stretch governs how hard it is to stretch. Bending governs how hard it is to bend. Weft and wrap means the horizontal and vertical direction. So weft is horizontal and wrap is vertical. Okay, so you have two directions. But in our case, it doesn't really matter, because this only will consider the actual pattern in 2D view. Back here to simulation, we don't have anything in 2D view. So I don't think that matters here. I think you can just drag them the same way, I guess. Okay. Anyway, so it's now a complete different fabric. So let me give it another try and see if I can, if I like this new physical property. You can fine tune this yourself, but I would recommend you to pick one of the already built preset, because they are real world numbers, right? So anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and do one more just to see if I can get a better result. But I think that the first simulation is actually pretty good already, right? So let me pause the video and then show you the result of this new preset. All right, we have another simulation. As you can see, this one is also having some trouble over there. I guess that's just because the movement is really big, and that part is having trouble settle down. Okay, let's see if I can give this guy a little help. But you can see this animation is a bit, you know, stiff also, right? So I'm gonna say, how about I help it over here? Okay, so let me start simulation here, and then drag these over. Okay. This time, just be a little bit more careful, I guess. Right. And when it's in the right position, you wait for a little while for it to settle down. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's one of the strengths I think Marvelous Designer have, which is you're allowed to get it if you wanted to. Okay, so I'm trying to tell it what to do. But this last pop is not very nice, right? So I'm gonna go here, right? And that's where I think it's fun already. And let me just let it simulate it there again. That's actually popping also, so I'm gonna stop it and then delete that. Maybe go a few frames earlier, like here. Okay, let's simulate from there and see if that can give me some better result. Okay, so give it a few tries. Now, if you can see if you can give it a little help to get it, if you don't like the final resting pose. But yeah, that's basically all you have to do, right, to simulate things in Modelers. Okay. If you're curious on those simulation properties for the fabric here underneath physics, go ahead and take a look at their documentation. Also, maybe spend some time learning Modeler Designer. It's actually built for also creating garment. The garment I was simulating now was actually created with Modelers in the first place also. Okay, so I'm gonna go try to take a look at what I have here for this guy. I can see if this feels natural enough now to me, like it is having some help that I gave it, but it does the job, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the next video. Let's talk about how we can get this out as cache, right? In Maya, then we can apply the simulation result back to our original model. Okay, see you next time.